everyone. Hi, everyone. How's everyone doing? Welcome to Nova's Inquest. Welcome back to Nova's Inquest. I hope everyone had holly jolly holidays. um, yeah, it thanks everyone for being here. Thanks. I want to make sure I didn't miss putting anybody up there. Violet. Yep, be sure to hit that like button when you come in. Please. Uh, yeah, Joyous. So Donna, Violet, Joyous, Sailor Moon, hello to you all. Rena Girl, thanks for being here. Uh, Ginger, thanks for being here. Here, I'll remove that for a bit so you can see me a little better. Hi, hello everyone. uh, Daryl, uh, Betty. Hi, Betty. Yeah, I think I got everybody. Nor'easter. I want to keep saying nor'easter because there was a nor'easter before. Donna, thanks everyone. Lori and Countryside Wildflowers. I like that name. Seawood. Yeah, I hope everyone's doing well. Oh, we are going to today. How was everyone's holidays first, Bobby Joe? Like, I know a lot of people were sick over the holidays, which is that happens. That happens because 'tis the season not only for holidays, but for all the flus and all that stuff going around. Allie, hi. Dragonfly Lover, Allie, Jesse. Yeah, Lynn. Yeah. Yeah, well, guys, yeah, 8 months 8 months this week. Yeah, Liz, Nova Scotia strong, yeah. Uh, Nova Scotia's had a tough few years. Yeah, I had a police officer come to my door here one day. It was before the cold set in, and uh, I had a movie playing, and I had the surround sound on. And this part came where mother's the daughter walked in and found her mother deceased. So she started screaming to the top of her lungs. Anyways, the police, I was hearing a bang, bang, bang on my door, and I don't answer the door. Like when my husband's here, if he wants to answer it, he can. But I never ever answer my door when I'm here alone unless I'm expecting someone. And so I just ignored it. And then the next thing I know, I hear in my living room window where I'm sitting, "Hello?" And I look over and there's the police officer there, and he said, that they heard that there was some screaming coming from the house and they were trying to make sure I was okay. And anyways, so uh I assured him, everything is fine. And I still had one of my Lilly&Jack posters, sitting in the living room. It was the 3rd one that we were trying to decide where to put it. And he saw that, and then we started talking about that. And, he said himself, he said, "Nova Scotia has had a rough few years, with some terrible things that have taken place." And it really has. It really has. We had the Portapic situation, we had floodings with people who died in those floodings, which is very rare for us to have that happen here, and it happened back to back. And, uh, And the thing is, we didn't have horrible winters that led into snow, melting and rain and then flooding. It was, like, due to the amount of rain that came down all at once that had caused the flooding. And, so and then, yeah, 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 I was kinda surprised too, and, he actually had backup coming too. Actually, the backup showed up, but they and then over the radio, I could hear dispatch asking if he wanted more backup, like a 3rd car, and then by that time, he had it all figured out that everything was okay, and, uh yeah, anyways, and the weird the funny I mean, it actually turned out to be funny because, like, when I'm preparing supper, I try to do as much as I can sitting down with my feet up because of the swelling that I end up getting in my legs and feet and ankles, so I, will take my board and take it into the living room and take all my vegetables in there and do everything I have to do in there with my vegetables, and that's what I was getting ready to do, so I had my butcher knife, uh, sitting there in the strainer face up, and, I mean, the whole like, just of all times too to have my butcher knife in the living sitting there beside me. I'm surprised he didn't say, "I'm gonna have to come in and take a look around," because they thought it was me screaming, and then, here I am sitting there with this great big knife sitting beside me. Oh my gosh. But, yeah, so we get into the conversation of, what Nova Scotia has been going through over the last few years, and so, you will see a lot of that, and then, of course, the whole COVID thing, which, I mean, I have my own thoughts on that, but, the whole Nova Scotia Strong thing had started, so definitely, yes, Nova Scotia Strong. Um, yeah. So today we are going to talk about, and hello to anybody new that it has come in, and hello to all you folks in the bushes as well. Yeah, it was funny. And my husband happened to go to he took off to drop some garbage off at the dump at the time, so he wasn't here. It was just me in the house, and yeah, crazy. Uh yeah. So, yeah, he kinda chuckled when she said, "Do you need more backup?" And he goes, "No, no, everything's okay. I got it figured out." And then he was just kinda shook his head and, chuckled a little bit, right? And he's like, I'll explain it to you when I get back to the office. Yeah, the fires. Yeah. There's been a lot of stuff back to back to back to back that doesn't is not the typical to be happening in Nova Scotia. It's it's different. It's different. Um, yeah. Yeah, they were. Yeah, we had them all over the county. Fire horse high. Yeah. Um, excuse me. So today we're gonna get into it is the 8th month of the missing case and still unsolved, although we've received some pretty good information from our CMP that, uh, they made some pretty heavy statements there. And we'll go over the article again. I won't read it. I'll play the other where they do the voice article for those who haven't heard it yet because it is behind a paywall. And then we'll touch on some of those major points for anybody that missed it. And then there's some other stuff I want to touch on that ties in with the Lilly and Jack Sullivan case. Um, First, we are going to um, oh yeah, I know all that smoke went over to the US. Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah, so and then we're gonna first we're gonna take a look at Kenley Matheson. Now some latest info that was information that was sent to me. Um, he he's also missing from Nova Scotia. Shan and I did a live regarding Kenley a couple of weeks ago, I guess I want to say. Um, he he went missing here in Nova Scotia back in the 90s. I believe it was September 21st. um, from from the university in Wolfville, Nova Scotia. He was attending university. He and he went missing. He went missing. His sister, who also attended there, is the one who reported him missing, called her father in. And if you want more information on that, you can check out the video that um, Shan and I did. And there's information there as to other videos you can check out as well that has more information. So, welcome to the vertical live chat. Oh, we have some in the vertical, do we? Um, so he, uh, uh, yeah, so I had someone reach out to me who is a private searcher, who's does searching. He's done searches for other cases as well, but he's been working on Kenley Matheson's case. Um, he is connected to the family as well due to that, and he is going to come on, hopefully Wednesday. He agreed. Yes, he's coming on. I did send him an email back and asked him, "How does Wednesday at 1 o'clock sound?" And I haven't heard back yet, but I know I'll hear back from him because he has been reaching out to me. And he will be on with Shan and I. Shan and I will collab again on the follow-up. But leading up to that, because he is going to be a guest on the channel. Hi, April. And because he's going to be a guest on the channel, I want to just give you guys a little touch on who he is. And he's been following this case for a long time. I don't know if he has any intentions on doing anything regarding the Lilly and Jack Sullivan case, or if he has, he may have been one of the volunteers that has already come to Pictou County. I don't know, but we can ask him that. Um, and we can ask him some other thoughts on what he thinks about uh in general questions, right? About searches, um, being out there searching in the missing persons cases. If you guys have any questions that you would like for Shan and I to bring up during that live, please send an email. Rena or Ginger can put the email in the chat, Novah's channel at gmail.com, and send your question in and we can bring it up to him. He's very open to because I said anything that you're able to discuss without causing any interference on the case, and he's very open to discussing the case and anything that he has done throughout his searches. I'm sure if there is anything that he can't discuss, he won't. um but thanks, Ginger and Rena. Yeah, so if there's any questions in particular that you would like us to ask him regarding the case of Kenley Matheson, um, yeah, please do so, and we will do our best to have those questions answered. Um, Guys, I am going to gift. I figured out how to gift uh, some just one second. I figured out how to gift some membership, so I'm gonna do that right now. Uh, well, I thought I did earlier. Now what's going on here? Hmm, I seen it earlier. Why don't I see it now? Oh, I know what I have to do, I think. Just give me one second because I wanna give these memberships out. Uh, oh, there it is. There it is. Hmm, there you go. Can you guys see that? 10? 10 gifts? What's the latest on Kenley? I'm gonna bring that up for you, Cool J, and thank you, Cool J, for being here. Allie, Ruby, um, April, thank you for the 279. I think it's a sticker. I can never tell if they're stickers or the super chats. I'm sorry. Yeah, we're gonna get into the latest there on Kenley. I'm actually gonna show you some videos. I'm gonna read you some messages from Steve Staples, who is the private searcher who has been doing searches on Kenley's case, and he's given us a couple of messages there that we're gonna take a look at. Thank you, April. Thank you so much. So sweet. I hope, welcome new members. Okay, so it worked. So you guys, yeah, you guys got your memberships. Yay! Hi, Wolfie. I don't see you there, but I mean, not because you're not, it's because your name's too high up. Don't worry. You're there, but I see people saying hi to you, so you must be here. All right, let's go over to my YouTube video. Aw, thank you, April. Oh, whoops. Hi, Wolfie. You're very welcome, thank you. I thought I already was a member. Oh, well, you might have won a membership that was given out before, and then it's up to you if you wanna continue it. But sometimes if you don't continue it, you'll get another free one. So here's a weird thing. I don't know how many of you guys were there the other day in Shan's chat, and I bought a membership because I like doing the pay it forward. So she gets a little bit, YouTube gets a little bit, and a member gets a free membership. But I like to pay it forward to members, so I usually do the membership thing. And well, I ended up getting my own membership that I purchased for so that someone else would receive that. I didn't know that could even happen, but that is just so, and the thing is, I was gonna purchase it and then become a member myself because she had just started her membership. So I was gonna purchase one to give away and then purchase one for myself. And then I ended up getting my own. So then I did purchase one I purchased another one for somebody else after that, but I didn't know that could happen. Uh, yeah. Hi, Tosh. Thanks for being here. Detective Tam, I have watched all the Kenley documentaries. I am sure the RCMP know what happened to him, but again, RCMP can't prove it. Yep. and that happens a lot. Brandy, hi. Um, yeah, so I'm gonna bring up, my video here that oh, shoot, I closed out my this is my video, and Shan and I both did the video, and we received, some comments from Steve Staples. So we're gonna go there, and I'm gonna go over those comments to give you he gives us, like, an update on the case. And as I said, he is going to be coming on and doing a live with Shan and I as well. So if you have any questions, send them to my email, and we will do our best. Just bringing up YouTube, guys. Just 1 second. I'm looking, I'm looking. I actually had it up there and already, and then I accidentally X'd it out. There it is. So I'm gonna bring up comments. There's a lot of dedicated people out there doing work, helping, assisting on these cases. We just don't know about them all. And I'm so happy he reached out. Um, he's not the only one. I had another individual reach out to me as well. All right, you guys see that okay? Oh, I'm gonna make it bigger. Don't like it when you can't see it. It's a little better. Make it a little bigger. Where the heck did my video go? What is going on here? I must have clicked something by mistake. I guess I can't make it bigger. It messes it up. But anyways, I'm sorry, guys. Uh, we'll have to keep it there. Anyways, so he's under Stevie Wonder, and this is under the Kenley video if you guys want to check it out. And go over, see the comments yourselves. Um, but I can let you read this for you. Okay, so he's under Stevie Wonder. Hi, I just read your message. So, oh, wait, let's go down to the first one he sent. So, the first one he sent was so this again is Steve Staples, a searcher on the Kenley Matheson case. Here's a bit of an update. and this was 6 days ago. He wrote this after the video was put out. On June 6, 2025, we had a cadaver dog come in and once again confirm the presence of human remains, because in that video we had talked about how a cadaver dog had detected some remains, well, possible remains. We are trying to pinpoint the exact spot. Anything to help this family get closure. They so much deserve. Yes, absolutely. And so I said, "Thank you for this update. I will share next video." Um, and he says, "You're welcome. We have been searching up on Melanson, and that's Melanson Mountain, for over a year now and have no intentions of quitting." Wow. And kudos to him. So I did write him an email. Um, and as I said, he is interested in coming on. And then he wrote one day ago, "Hi, I just read your message. So sorry for not getting back to you sooner. Yes, anytime. I'm willing to have a discussion in regards to Kenley." So that's wonderful. And thank goodness for people like for this individual, Steve Staples, who is willing to come on here and discuss the case with us. Hi, Cheryl. Thanks for being here. And anybody else who came in that I missed, Mariska, hi. Anybody else who I missed, hello to you. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is go over to Facebook, and we're gonna watch he videotapes his searches. So we're gonna watch some of his searches that he's done, uh, uh, regarding Kenley, and he's actually found some things during these searches. So I have to share that page. One second, guys.
And the shirt, we unearthed this shirt.
Can you guys hear that okay? Was the sound okay, guys? I just wanna make sure that you can hear it. Okay. And I put it back to the beginning because I think it might have been partway through.
And the shirt, we unearthed this shirt. And the shirt, we unearthed this shirt. That's right.
Yes, he did.
Coming back to dig this shit out. especially now. Landowners full permission. We just never got around to this. We were so focused on the other spot, but we got to come down here. I stood with Kayreen yesterday in this spot, and she stared at this particular location. Yeah, we're gonna dig it. That's the original hit location, by the way. The recent one is up further in this spot. A lot of these old rocks, they're loose as all hell, as you can see. Some of them don't make a liar out of me. Oh, there we go. If you wax with a bar, they'll come free. Oh yeah, I can get them off if need be. Anyhow, y'all have a good day. I just came up to have a little look around, make sure everything's good. Talk to you later.
Yeah, see, let me go back, see what questions. There's a couple of questions there. CJ, did he say we unearthed it? Yes, he said we unearthed the shirt. And he does say, I can't remember if that's one of there's so many videos, I'd never be able to show them all today, but I just picked out some that I thought were most interesting. But, I believe later says it's not something that was described to be owned by Kenley, but, like he says, you never know. So, it was still handed in, but it could be something that somebody who did something to Kenley was wearing, or he could have been clothed in different clothing for like, you just don't know in these cases, right? Um and I do believe that was by the bear cave because he states, that was the original, um that was the original spot where, a hit was, and that was the original one was around the bear cave, I believe. Um, yeah, Nor'easter, when we go over to Jack, and Lily, which we're going to after we touch on this, um we we'll talk about that. I did hear about that. It was like the first week of the well, I should say first couple of weeks, but I'm pretty sure it was the first week, that the children went missing, that I had heard that. Yes. Um, yeah, and I mean, yeah, we wouldn't hear about it again. I wouldn't say it disappeared, but chatter about it disappeared because probably if it's so, um, it would have to be kept quiet. Uh, and my understanding is that the information that was given to me is that that was found. There was like a purple piece of material that could be a possible headband, and some other stuff, and that it was one of the searchers who found it, whose name I know, but it is out there, but I'm not gonna repeat it again. Um, yeah. So, yeah, yeah. I know the name of the person who supposedly found them. Um, he has put out a couple of messages in the beginning, but, um, my understanding is he's quite traumatized from the whole thing, which I imagine all those searchers are. Uh, yeah. Justice for all, I think. Justice for JL. justice for Jack and Lily. Oh, I thought you were Justin, but that's still we're still excited to have you here too. Excited to have everyone here. Um, okay, there's another clip I want to show because there's another piece of clothing that is found. And when he comes on, he'll go over this stuff with us as well. Uh, he'll elaborate more for us. There it is, that one.
Hello, everyone. So I just found this. I know Kenley had brown loafers. This is brown, it's weathered, but I don't think it's a loafer. But it's found in the second ravine up from the chicken pit, closest to the highway. I'm about to go down to the first one and check that out, but yeah. Until I get confirmation, I think I'll hang on to it. Just wanted to share with everyone. Don't know if it's relevant to Kenley's case, but you never know. Talk to you later.
And that's the thing. You don't know what's relevant. Anything comes, everything, right? When you're doing stuff like this, because it could mean something, you don't know.
Hello,
And his
everyone.
mom, Kenley's
Hello, everyone.
mother, she's aging. So is his sister, but I mean, of course, the mom, she's up there in age, and all a parent wants in cases like this where you have absolutely no answers. Well, I guess they're kind of figuring out they got a pretty good idea what took place, but they need the confirmation. They need to find Kenley, and they need to bring that part of it to an end. I hate using the word closure because there never is closure. But as a parent is aging and they're getting up there in age, they know there's not much time left. And that's just heartbreaking. It's so heartbreaking for parents. I can't imagine, right? So, so sad.
This here is the main level of Kroll Tower where they would have had the party in September of '92. I'm outside Kroll Tower looking in. I can't go in. Doors are locked. But yeah, this is it. This is where they would have had the big party that night. On the 18th, I believe. We're not finished. Stay tuned.
Yeah. Sad. All these cases are sad. You know, it seems the young ones, there's not many there's broken systems, or there's people that just don't care enough for the children, and then you have a case like this where it's just hasn't been solved yet, where they have an idea, definitely, of what took place here. And again, if you go back and watch the video that Shannon and I did, and then I talk about uh, a documentary, 5-part documentary, Missing Kenley, that was done as well with excellent information in it. Um, Hi, Laverne. Yeah, thumbs up, thumbs up. I forget, was this Kenley's first year at Acadia? It was. It was his first year. He had taken a couple of years off, and traveled. Yeah, he was worldly, and he traveled across Canada on a motorbike. He did the whole tree planting thing, which is extremely hard work, right? Made a lot of money, saved it for school, did some traveling with a friend that he had met. Um, yeah, and then he came back, and then his sister was starting university that year. There was a couple of years between them, and so they both started there together, and that's why he was reported missing, sooner than he probably may have been, was because she was there, of course, and knew that something's wrong when he wasn't showing up for classes and people were coming to her and saying, "I haven't seen Kenley." Um, Jesse, yes, it really is. Yeah. And I gave them kudos because the chief of police, who's now retired in that documentary, he admits it. He admits the mistakes they made and that they could have did better. And he even states how bad he feels because he feels, they could have did better. Uh, Odd that he would get involved with locals in his first couple months in Wolfville. Yeah, I think it was more to do with that party or the big party that he's talking about there at that center, um, at Kroll Tower. Yeah, and people mixing and mingling there. Um, yeah, but regarding the other 2 friends, me too, I was kinda like, "Gosh," but I guess he was very friendly and made friends easy, although he was an introvert. Um, and I'm gonna kinda guess that he was trying to come out of his shell somewhat as well, because when you're an introvert, now here you are in university, and there's a certain lifestyle that goes on in university that he was trying to kinda pull himself out of his shell a bit. Um, and yeah, he made friends very quickly with, I think his name is Tom, and I can't remember her name. Can't remember her name. But, he sure did, and then the first week, they went on a, trip, to her place for the weekend. I'd be interested to know if any locals lived in Kroll Tower that year. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, because the individual that they're pretty sure, y you know, is involved in this, lived local and stated that they didn't live in Kroll Tower, so, frosh week, yeah, frosh weeks are dangerous in my opinion, yes. Yeah, and he was worried about that because where he's such an introvert, and that was one thing he wasn't really interested in. That could be why he was interested in making like, accepted the friendship of those 2 individuals who invited him to go away for the weekend as well, because it would get him away from campus and away from the whole frosh week thing, right? If you're not there, then you don't have to worry about it. Yeah, it was a very informative documentary, that's for sure. It was very well done, very well done. I lived on campus for 2 years at Acadia, a few years after this, never came across locals. Yeah. Living there, yeah, yeah, because most people don't. Even my son, when he went to university, because where we live in Pictou County and St. FX is in Antigonish, County, and he was able to just drive back and forth. Um and that's 2 different counties, so anyone living right in the county of where the university is probably not gonna live on campus. Uh, Doubtful. Alright, I just wanna make sure I covered everything there, and we can move on to Lily and Jack. I wanna say thank you to those, because when you're on here, you say thank you to those who are gifting memberships, stickers, and super chats and whatnot. I don't want to forget the thanks for the buy me a coffee because I have had some buy me a coffee. And I did write little notes back, but I'm like, I don't know if they're actually receiving those or they have to check their email to know that I wrote back to them. So I did write thank yous back. And so just in case you didn't get those notes, thank you for the buy me a coffee. And that's what that little symbol is up in the corner there that you can see. And then I put my Nova's Inquest in the center. um Yeah, and oh, sugar plum. I meant to bring up the winter clothing to show you guys the last of the winter clothing that came in to be donated to the school. And I can't remember if I told you guys the little girl's jacket. I ordered one, it was canceled. And then I ordered a second one, it was canceled. And then I thought, when I go to take these to the school, I'm just gonna stop by Walmart and run in, and hopefully they'll have some in stock. Well, they say online they do have them in stock, and I'm just gonna run in and pick one out because, um, yeah, I can't keep waiting for the orders online because the second jacket I ordered held me up waiting, and then it ended up canceled as well, so it was kind of annoying. Okay, so I showed you the Kenley clips. I explained to you who Steve Staples is. He is going to be here probably Wednesday, 1 p.m. with Shan and I. Um, so I want to go over to Justin's video. I don't know if you guys watched Justin. Hi, Charmaine. Anybody else that came in as well? Thank you for being here. Um, Hi, Charmaine. You're welcome to come up if you want. Actually, anybody, if any FBI 9540. Uh, Hi there. We're heading on to, Lily and Jack now, FBI 95. Um, yeah, if anybody wanted to come up, let me know. I will put the link in the chat for you. Yeah, so I wanna start off by checking out a video Justin did yesterday. Actually, Daphne comes on with him as well, but what I'm gonna show you is before she came on, and it's about the little fella, John, uh, Bowley Bole, um, and just sad, so sad, this little fella. Just give me a second, guys, to grab my history there. Mm. I gotta get used to my YouTube on this laptop. All I want is to find my history, and I can't. Okay. What. Mm. It's funny how changing one thing can mess you right up. Oh. Oh, there it is. Yeah, that poor little fella. What a sin. So sad. Poor Daphne was just heartbroken. Hi, Angelina. Yeah, poor Daphne was just and you can tell when Justin's upset as well. Uh, was the party at Kroll Tower the day before he went missing? I believe it was a couple days. It was on Saturday. The last day he was seen by his friend Tom was Monday morning, and then that was it after that. Hopefully, I have my information correct, because of my memory, but I'm pretty sure that's how it went. Um, yeah, yeah, it was. We were all watching. I know, and it is. I've had my moments on here too. Where you just break down because it's just so heartbreaking. Like, and that's why I can't do the Janie tapes because I literally break down every time. That is the one thing that I just have to stay away from. I can't. If I watch Justin do it and he's thrown his little bit of humor in there, which is probably why he's doing that, because it's disturbing to him and anyone else to be listening to. Um, and it's hard. It's hard to listen to that stuff. All right, just one second. I'm going to share screen, guys, and we're going to listen to the lovely Justin, one of my faves. Listen, I know I'm married and he's gay, but I gotta be honest, I got a little crush on Justin. He's so sweet. All right, we got the spinning circle. Ah, come on now, Justin, don't do that to us. Gosh dang it all.
Okay. So, yes. Uh, Rush hoping, that he was alive, but that wasn't the case. Wasn't the case. She had a restraining order and judge gave dad 5 days visitation. Sad. Yeah. Um, and there's a lot more. We've got more documents now that dad has allegedly methamphetamine use. And it's always that rug. It's always that rug with, I hate that. I absolutely hate that stuff. Um, Absolutely hate it. And we're going to go over some of those documents. Jonathan's brother was not his dad's child, right? I don't know. I think so because they were married and when they got divorced, Jonathan was just a baby. I agree. Should have never have had visitations. 5 days out of a whole year? That's nothing. Absolutely nothing. It's just not even worth it. You know what I mean? All right, let me, I've got some stuff pulled up here that we're going to go to. Bear with me as, I mean, they all kind of came out of the woods at one time, and we were expecting this press conference. Bear with me one second, guys.
Full credit.
And we're going
Clutch
to get to
them
it.
pearls,
Give me 2 seconds as I pull
Justin.
this stuff up.
And I do have Justin in the description.
Poor little baby.
But you hear what he's saying there. Again, it's the math. The
Here we go.
math.
NBC is
Reports to
breaking the news as well
CBS.
right now. 2 miles from the home. Yes, 2 miles from the home. Maybe.
Of a 4-year-old boy who was reported missing on New Year's Eve day. That's December 31st. Let's get right to NBC News correspondent George Solis. George, this was an urgent days-long search now with a tragic ending. What more should we know?
Yeah, Zinkley, it really is just one of those stories that gets you and rips you to your core here. The sheriff of this county briefing the press a little bit ago with this really tragic update, thanking the volunteers first for their countless hours out there in all sorts of conditions trying to search for 4-year-old Jonathan Boley. As you mentioned, he was reported missing Wednesday by his father. You see the volunteers there searching some of that terrain. Let's get right to what the sheriff said just moments ago.
Like so many of you across our community, we're devastated, and we're devastated by this news. Jonathan was an adventurous boy, and he loved the outdoors. I ask you to be.
Enough. When is enough? Oh, kids there with him whenever she, from the get-go, said that she was afraid for her life and her kids' life. We read this last night. And now I'm going to show you some documents about the math use. These people, when they are on that stuff, bad things happen.
Yep.
Bad things happen.
Mm-hmm.
We see it time and time and time again. When is enough? When is enough? Oh, absolutely, Tina. Absolutely.
Yeah. So you hear what Justin's saying there. And I mean, this guy had POWs all over his property as well. That was very well known. And I guess they were going off while the kids were there. I believe it was the night before there were reports, and police had already been there and were aware. But can you imagine? I mean, that those children are only with that parent for 5 days out of a year, and they're probably going from a very loving, normal, quiet household to now to a household with somebody doing math and has the POWs around the property that these children are hearing. Um, they don't know what happened to the little fella yet. He was found in the woods. The dog stayed with him along his side, and thanks, Ginger. And um, and can imagine, dogs are so loyal. Animals, but especially dogs are so loyal. Um, you know, the dog probably took better care of him staying there at his side than anything that was going on in that house. Um, but yeah, the autopsy will be out. We'll find out more. But I mean, even if he wandered off on his own, he's 4 years old. Can you imagine? Like, in my mind, I'm thinking he was probably so scared. He was probably trying to get the heck out of there into somewhere where he wasn't listening to loud uh, booms going off and whatever was going on in the household with the father on the math. And Just horrible. Uh, Terrible. Yeah. Poor baby Jonathan. He is in heaven now. Yeah. CPS and the courts need to do better. I agree. Um, I don't, you know, and it's a change in a system, I think, with CPS. I don't want to specifically blame CPS uh, workers. Not all of them. There are some that, of course, are, in any profession are doing a crappy job. But I think sometimes hands are tied as well because of the change that needs to be in the systems, the same as uh, the Amber Alert. Perhaps there needs to be a stage 1, a stage 2 Amber Alerts, so there's less confusion. And the stage 1, or vice versa, could be when they do have the information of the person, the vehicle, and the other one could be the same as what they do for the vulnerable alert, the invasive vulnerable alert, intrusive, because if people don't understand what you're doing and that is pretty much as close as you can get to an Amber Alert without putting out the description of a vehicle and individual because there isn't one in the case, then call it an Amber Alert stage 1 or 2 and then have your other stage, because just in the fact that people don't understand that, and it's something that's constantly being brought up and brought up and brought up, um, you're better off doing that. So there's no more questions, there's no more misunderstandings. Um, People hear that it's an Amber Alert stage 1 or 2 or whatever. um, it's the Amber Alert that they want to hear. They don't understand that the vulnerable alert is pretty much the same thing. There's just no description of the clothing and or the individual in a vehicle. And the Amber Alert, I think, might go a little bit wider throughout the country. So just make that change. Make that change. Um, and then the same as the scene, um, it should be treated as a certain type of scene, and especially under certain circumstances until more is known about what is going on and then downgrade it. Um, and I mean, maybe they do that and we don't know about it. I don't know, but it doesn't kind of seem like it just from things that we learned about the case of Lily and Jack. Um, but if an alert went out every time, sadly, in my opinion, people eventually would ignore the alerts. But they're putting the vulnerable alert out anyways. They're putting the intrusive vulnerable alert out anyways. It's more so the name that people are hearing, and they associate an Amber Alert with children, and was an Amber Alert put out, and uh that I think is more of the issue. So, it to me, it just has to be a bit of a change in the practice, and switch your vulnerable switch that intrusive vulnerable alert in regards to children over to Amber Alert stage 1, stage, and then have the other stage 2 or vice versa or whatever. You guys know what I'm saying, because they're putting that out anyways. They're putting it out anyways. Let's keep it positive. Challenge ideas, not people. Thanks for following, sharing your thoughts and opinions in chat. Agreed, Ginger. Excuse me. Um, yes. Yeah, I agree. Think of how many children's would be alive if there was changes made to the CPS. Yep, and we can go through a huge list of them. I've got some I could rhyme off right now that stick out in my mind from years ago. Yeah. CPS can't always be responsible. Parents should be more, have more of a punishment. Yes. Yep. The courts. Yep. Uh, yeah, I also think the federal government needs to help Nova Scotia with their RCMP and allow law enforcements. Yeah. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with, I mean, I always say it's not about blaming. It's not about blaming or saying, this is what somebody did this wrong, or it's about looking at something, especially when it's over and over and over again, and going, okay, we need to take a look at this and see where we can go do better, you know. It's the same as autistic children. Now, there was just another incident of an autistic child, and I think it was in Barrie, Ontario, um, where there was a welfare check called, and the mother's in the apartment, and the child's there unalive, uh, you know, by her doing, and she worked in healthcare. So, one thing I've always said is it seems that there may be more supports needed. If you're seeing that over and over and over again, either more supports are needed or more, uh, a way for that information to get out there somehow. Uh, but, it's, to me, it's something that has to be looked at. If you're seeing something happen over and over and over again, it's time to take a look for sure. Hi, Diesel Weasel. I see you there. Wolfie, in my opinion, roadblocks should have been set up. Yep, I agree. No public interference. Yep. Everyone should have been kicked off the Martell's property. Yep. That wasn't emergency response. I agree with everything you are saying. 100%. Uh, yes. All our CMP in Canada. RCMP is federal police force. Yes. Um, Lady Allen, the only Mr. Big I heard about was with Penny Boudreau. I wonder if that's something that may happen with NBM. There's been more Mr. Bigs than that. I've there's a few cases that I've uh followed. There's that one. Now I'm not going to remember all the names, but there was a man in Cape Breton who red rummed somebody, and then he moved. Can't remember if it was out west or Ontario. Kind of think it was Ontario. Cases that are way back, I remember better because I have short-term memory issues. But anyways, and they caught him through Mr. Big. There is another case of a couple of guys who read from the parents of one of the individuals, and then they took off to the States. And then the RCMP worked with the U.S. law enforcement. They worked together, and part of that was the Mr. Big sting. And they got them. And there was another case of an individual and who was also from Nova Scotia here, who moved out, and this is what happens too. When those things happen, then those people take off. They just brought one guy back from the US, I think he was in Texas, who red-rummed a, female here, a lady here in Nova Scotia. I did do a video on that. Um and I don't know if they got him through the Mr. Big, but they got him working with the US law enforcement as well. Yeah, and there was another man who red rum somebody here in Nova Scotia. He took off. They got him through the Mr. Big. So yeah, there's more than Penny. But there's not too many females you hear of. Yeah. Uh, Hi, Magdalena. Thanks for being here. Justin is not here. We're taking a look at his video from last night. But I did see it my time here in Nova Scotia. I'm not sure where you are, that he's booked for a live at 11, and he might be on before then too. Who knows? I think that was booked for last night, and he maybe fell asleep, or I was reading it wrong because I was half asleep. I don't know. Hi, Harley Davidson. Uh, yeah, Angelina. Yeah, they're the feds. Yep, they sure are all across Canada, Canadica. See Wood. Everyone on the scene when RCMP arrived should have been questioned, and everyone on scene that day should be questioned. Yeah, yeah. Well, there has been a lot questioned. Uh, and you have High Horse gone wild. Um, they did a Mr. Big for the Big Bens. The Big Bens. Hmm. No, I don't think they should have been allowed to search at all as well. No, no. Yes, there is lots of Mr. Big cases. Yeah. Susie Q baby, hi. If I missed anybody, my apologies. Uh yeah, if you have a question for Nova, please put question in all caps before your message so we don't miss it. Thanks, Ginger. And Ginger, I don't because you are the managing mod, I don't know if I think you're able to star comments. So if you see comments like that, and so that I don't miss them, you can click that star, and then I click on a button that says starred, and I go over, and all those they're saved, so I don't have to search back in the comments. Maybe you both can do it, but I think maybe only Ginger can. But if you want to try it just to see, just to practice, uh, just you can star any old comment, and then I'll try to do it, and I'll see if it shows up. Uh, yeah, they did tell. Yeah, they told them all not to search, and then you got Janie in the woods with the dog, and then eventually they ended up telling Daniel to go back out, and I have speculation on that. Uh, oh, okay, so you can't, because sometimes they wanna see what you're doing. And he said while he was out there that the helicopter was doing nothing but hovering over him, so that could be why. Uh, there was a Mr. Big case here in Calgary for Robert Leeming case. Okay. I think I heard of that. That's one of the ones I'm thinking of, I believe, because that name is, yeah, very familiar. Okay, so let's take Justin off, and I want to go over next to Hunter S. True Crime because he did an excellent video. And we're not going to watch the whole thing because it's 30 minutes and some of it is press conference. So I kind of have marked some spots down to watch. And we will. Am I still in my history? There it is.
FBI agent told the judge that Julia confessed.
Police are looking for a missing 2-year-old. Want to show you Noah Tomlin.
So this is Hunter S. True Crime. And full credit to Hunter S. True Crime. And thank you for your wonderful videos. Very informative.
We're told he was last seen wearing a white and green pajama shirt and diaper. His last known location was on Atlantic Avenue at about 1 o'clock this morning.
This normally quiet Hampton neighborhood overtaken by crime scene tape, search parties, and forensic units, all centered around this mobile home, the last place 2-year-old Noah Tomlin was seen. According to police, Noah's mother put him to sleep around 1 a.m. When she went back to check on him, he was gone. She reported him missing to police around 11:30 a.m.
There's so many prayers going up. We've got whole communities praying together, and I pray for a safe return. I have a daughter. I would want someone looking for her if she was missing.
I've never searched for a child, but I'll be willing to crawl down here on my hands and knees to find the baby.
We also spoke with a neighbor who knows the mother personally. She says she lives in the mobile home with 3 children, all under the age of 5.
I've spent a lot of time with the kids. I love the kids. I've done a lot to help her and everything, because there's a lot of times that she needs a break from them.
The mother is not the type to lose track of her kids.
She's always doing stuff with the kids. She's never, she's always with them. Always. Because she's always finding things for them to do and everything. Can't understand it, because the kids are never off the porch. If they are, usually she's off the porch. But she's got a gate that she locks and everything.
And we're considering everything from the child just walking away, but 2 years old shouldn't be able to walk too far, to all the way up to and including foul play. We're looking at all potential possibilities. Well, we have a missing child, 2-year-old.
Hampton. You could see people in hazmat suits with black trash bags searching in a coned-off area. There was also multiple ambulances and a command center post set up towards the west end of the landfill. We're told forensic teams are at Hampton Fire Station 11 waiting if they do find anything suspicious in this case. Now, that's just across the road. But outside of the landfill search, investigators are also checking with Noah's extended family members for any information on where he might be. I actually just heard from Noah's mom, Julia Tomlin. Now, she says Noah can't walk well and he possibly has autism, but she says he loves everybody and is very affectionate.
His family has remained silent until now. Noah's mom sent 13 News Now several text messages about the entire situation. She starts off saying, "I'm working real hard with law enforcement to help find my baby. I can't have my location known or whereabouts of my other children for their safety." She sent this picture to us, taken last month. She says her son doesn't walk well, and this pediatrician said there are signs of him having autism. We asked her about the rest of the family. She says the other 2 children are safe. She and her family and friends are praying and spreading his photos. She goes on to say Noah belongs home. His family loves and misses him. Today, fire crews went back and forth to the landfill to search for the toddler. You can see here one crew returning and washing off gear.
They've checked under houses, they've checked in sheds, they've checked cars. I'm hoping.
Good evening, and thank you for being here on such short notice. Tonight, our hearts and prayers continue to go out to the loved ones of Noah Tomlin and for Noah Tomlin. On Monday, June 24th, at approximately 11:36 a.m., the Hampton Police Division was notified by Julia Tomlin that her 2-year-old son, Noah, was missing. This began a very intensive investigation conducted by the Hampton Police Division, other local, state, and federal partners. Much of this you have witnessed throughout the week. What you have not witnessed is the intensive investigation going on behind the scenes. This continues to be a two-pronged process on both the search and investigative efforts. But tonight we are announcing an arrest related to the disappearance of Noah Tomlin. We are arresting Julia Lena Tomlin, 34-year-old Hampton woman, the mother of Noah, in connection with his disappearance. Charges are pending. Unfortunately, to date, Noah has not been found. Based on the highly coordinated investigation, we believe him to be deceased. This leaves us a little bit speechless, but the search for Noah continues. We'll never give up hope. The Hampton.
You want to give Ms. Tomlin, come up and have a seat at the table there, please.
Julia Tomlin in court for the first time since police arrested her last Friday night. Tomlin spoke very softly to the judge and became visibly emotional at times. According to the arrest warrants, Tomlin's felony child neglect charges are from June 22nd, 2 days before she reported her son Noah missing. The warrant accuses her of neglecting 3 kids, a 2- and 3-year-old and a 6-month-old baby.
2 days before police say Julia reported Noah missing. When asked about the difference in dates, Hampton police could only say,
That kind of speaks a little bit towards the deeper elements of the investigation, so I can't talk about that. We're putting so much effort into this, not just because we want to bring a close to the investigation, but it's what Noah deserves.
This morning, we learned a little about Tomlin and her criminal past. A judge found Tomlin guilty of child neglect in 2010. According to a criminal complaint, Tomlin told a detective she sat her then 1-year-old daughter on the stove. She said moments later her daughter fell on the stove, leaving her with severe burn marks on her back. Both of the girls' parents told detectives they never took their daughter to the hospital. Tonight, the search for Noah is intense. Not only are crews searching the landfill, they're now at the Hampton NASA steam plant. Police say the conditions, especially in the landfill, are grueling.
Digging through the entire city's trash, it speaks volumes to what it means to them to get this child recovered. Officers that are on the search, they remain dedicated, many of them volunteering to work this assignment in lieu of their regular assignments. And many of them are volunteering to work extra long hours.
these extra hours are being spent at the city landfill and Hampton steam plant. Police cars and crews could be seen outside of the steam plant building today. City officials say the steam plant is where some of the city's trash goes instead of the landfill. There it is turned into renewable energy, and it's where Hampton police say their search efforts will stay for now.
While we're not ruling out other locations altogether, at the immediate time, that's where our search efforts are focused, both at the landfill and the steam plant.
As the sun began to set over Hampton, the candlelights flickered below. People in the community came together for 2-year-old Noah Tomlin.
Very emotional. A little boy is lost.
There were 4 independent searches of the area around Noah's home. There were also 2 searches that were conducted at the landfill and at the steam plant where trash is diverted. On the investigative side, we have been assisted by a number of different folks, but particularly the FBI. This includes agents, technical, and including the behavioral science unit out of Quantico that have assisted. The information gained through the investigation helped focus the search efforts. Conservatively, we've spent over 10,000 man-hours on this process. We have been through 1,000 tons, and let me put that in perspective, that's 2 million pounds of garbage, and search that by hand. The priority all along has been to find Noah. It's with very mixed emotions that we report today that goal has been accomplished. At 8:50 a.m. this morning, a search team located the remains of a child we believe to be Noah Tomlin.
Tomlin is accused of murdering and killing her 2-year-old son.
There is no question in my mind, based on the evidence, this child was tortured.
Tonight, murder charges for Julia Tomlin, as we learn how her son died. According to an autopsy and anthropology report, Noah had fractures to his skull, jaw, and ribs. The report revealed that Noah's abuse was so gruesome, his bones stopped growing. Commonwealth's attorney Anton Bell described Noah's injuries as if a child had fallen several stories from a building.
Nothing really kind of grabs you like seeing a child or a toddler being the victim of a crime, particularly something as horrific as this particular crime.
According to the medical examiner, Noah's body was in a state of decomposition when search crews found him inside the Hampton NASA steam plant in July. The only things recognizable, his liver and one of his legs.
She should never, ever get the opportunity to ever hold another baby or to ever be in a caretaker role.
Julia Tomlin was brought into the courtroom today wearing shackles. 14 witnesses were called in for today's preliminary hearing. One of those witnesses, Brad Bailey, was called in by the Commonwealth. He claims to be the father of one of Julia's children. 2 days before Noah was reported missing, Bailey said he went to Tomlin's home.
She had called me the night before and about 10 times in that day. I should say, like, she wasn't able to clean her house. So she needed me to provide her this so she could clean her house to make it suitable for child enforcement.
He said that afternoon around 1 to 1:30, Noah was alive.
My focus wasn't on Noah, but he was there in the living room.
Then Brian Knoll was called into court. He claims hours later that same day he went to Tomlin's home with his daughter. He says at that time there was some question whether he could have been Noah's father and wanted his daughter to meet Noah. He said Julia wouldn't let him see Noah.
Anyway, we can just maybe me and my daughter can just peep in. We won't wake him, to see Noah. And again, Julie responded that, well, he's asleep.
Hampton police investigators presented new evidence, including photos of bloodstains that were cleaned from the wall and a shirt at Tomlin's home.
The FBI agent told the judge that Julia confessed to her that Noah died while taking
Yeah, so very sad, very sad. But again, you see the similarities in all these cases. I don't know if you guys caught it in the beginning there, and I hope I didn't move forward before it was said that she just woke up and he was gone, right? A 2-year-old, right? She just woke up and he was gone. Yeah. And I mean, not that that can't happen, because if you guys were here before, I told you the story about my little fella getting through the child-proof knob. But typically they're found. Typically they're found. I found him a few houses up in the backyards, up a bit. He was petrified to move once he realized, uh-oh, what did I just do? And he was crying, Mommy. So he definitely wasn't running away from me. He was curious, like Jack, when Jack got out when he was 2, right? But yeah, this is terrible, terrible. So Hunter S. True Crime does these stories and kind of pulls out certain things that are very similar to all these cases, right? And has done several cases on Lilly&Jack and has pulled out certain information and then puts it all together in that one clip. Some of them are around a half hour, some of them are shorter. But just terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Yeah. Okay, just one second. Yeah, so Cool J says RCMP, and he's quoting Daniel, we told you to not go in the woods. Daniel, but some army dude with Oliver on the back said I could. Yeah, sure, buddy. I know. I question that one too, right? Especially after we've realized, what we've realized. Yeah. And again, thank you to Hunter S. True Crime. Great videos. Yeah. Somebody asked if the death penalty is there. I'm not sure. I'm not too familiar with the U.S. states, which ones have death penalty or not. But and I agree. Somebody else said there about the rehabilitation when someone unalives another individual. I think certain cases can be, probably more so well, not probably, but more so than actual offenders. But certain cases definitely shouldn't even be considered. And I think when a parent can unalive your own flesh and blood, no, no, absolutely not. No. Like, and the way some of it is done, like the Penny Boudreau case, which I did do a video on way back, the mother who unalived her child. No, she should not be getting out, but she's out on day visits now here in Canada, um, which our laws tend to be somewhat softer than in the US. And it just irritates the bejesus out of me. It just drives me crazy. No need of it. All right. Moving on. Let's go over to and you guys are getting what I'm getting at here, the similarities. It's always the same story, the same similarities. And certainly in the case of Lilly and Jack Sullivan, we can certainly see statistics there, the similarities, those red flags. Yeah. So we're going to go over to the Globe and Mail. I'm gonna play the article instead of reading the whole thing because it'll just do my voice in. So I'm sure you guys have noticed before, my voice doesn't last too long, and I get choked up, and that's because of my left side issues I have, the weakness I have on my left side. My left side gives up on me, but my right side wants to keep going. But, I'm gonna play it. So let me share here first. I think that's all I wanted to play on the YouTube stuff. I can probably. Oh, no, I do have more videos there I want to play, so we'll keep it YouTube up. Hi, everyone. My husband bought me a bunch of new tops for Christmas, and I love them. I really needed them. And I'm still getting Christmas gifts because they didn't all come in. Some of them were actually coming in the mail. So I have, I think 2 or 3 that are still on the way. So I'm still getting late Christmas gifts. A little bit spoiled I am. Now I know some of you already heard this, but I know some haven't as well because it's behind a paywall. And if you haven't watched any of the other channels, and some people don't watch all the channels, then you wouldn't have heard it. If there's any issues with the sound, just let me know. I don't hear it playing. Maybe I am gonna have to read it.
Nova Scotia RCMP major crimes. Head says he's confident case of missing children will be resolved. By Lindsay Jones. The question of how 2 young children could just disappear has kept the RCMP head of major crime in Nova Scotia awake for many nights since Jack and Lilly Sullivan were reported missing from their home last May. But Staff Sergeant Rob McCammon, the acting officer in charge of major crime and behavioral science, insists police are still making progress with the case, and he's confident that in time it will be resolved. "This is not a file that just sits at work and you pick it up in the morning," said Staff Sergeant McCammon. "You've got two very vulnerable people who perhaps were in some difficult circumstances and they've gone missing. We need answers as to what took place." A team of major crime investigators are still following up on the more than 1,000 tips they received and working through a list of 1,300 investigative tasks in a case that Staff Sergeant McCammon described as having the greatest volume of information in his 25-year career. The disappearance of Jack, 4, and Lily, 6, from their home in the rural hamlet of Lansdowne has reverberated across the country and abroad, a missing persons case that Staff Sergeant McCammon described as affecting so many because it's a very fundamental wrong. On May 2nd, the morning Jack and Lily were reported missing, their mother, Malahia Brooks Murray, marked them absent from school for a second day in a row. Around 10 a.m., she called 911 to report they had wandered off while she and their stepfather, Daniel Martell, had been dozing in bed with their toddler. Staff Sergeant McCammon declined to speak about an investigative theory or theories in an interview at Nova Scotia RCMP headquarters in Dartmouth this month, saying all avenues are still under consideration and he has to consider the impact on long-term justice should criminal charges be laid. But he added, police are making headway. "I believe we have made ground when it comes to where things are heading and what we're finding out," he said. "We're collecting information from all areas. We're assessing that, and it's helping us form pictures of what may have taken place. We're going to continue to work down that road." The Globe previously reported on troubling issues inside Jack and Lily's home, including admitted drug abuse by their stepfather, multiple black eyes on the children, controlling behavior that affected their mother, and other pressures brought on by the parents' financial struggles. The Globe's reporting also revealed that a provincial child protection social worker had visited the children's home to investigate a report of suspected abuse or neglect. Staff Sergeant McCammon said police interviewed the social worker involved with Jack and Lily and others with valuable information about the children's circumstances. "We have looked at their movements in the days prior and the kind of things that were going on in their lives. That is part of our investigative inquiry," he said. Both parents explained the children's sudden disappearance the same way. The kids must have put on their boots, opened the sliding glass door, and left the fenced-in backyard. The three adults who live on the property, including the children's step-grandmother, Janie McKenzie, told police they heard the children playing in the morning before they disappeared. In the days and weeks that followed, the Mounties oversaw one of the largest searches in the province's history. Dozens of search and rescue teams, police dogs, a helicopter, and drones scoured the thickly wooded area around the trailer for more than 12,000 hours. They reviewed thousands of surveillance videos, and human remains detection dogs poured over 40 kilometers of land. In late fall, the children's stepfather, Mr. Martell, said he doesn't believe the children wandered into the woods anymore because of the extensive search. He said he also no longer suspects that Ms. Brooks Murray, who ended their relationship shortly after Jack and Lily disappeared, was involved in the abduction of her own children, a theory he had suggested. Both parents have repeatedly denied any involvement in Jack and Lily's disappearance, and court documents show they both underwent polygraph tests that found they were truthful on all 4 questions that were not publicly disclosed. No new searches for the children are planned, but Staff Sergeant McCammon said police are reviewing the search areas to ensure they haven't missed anything. "If we identify areas that we feel would be of benefit to do some more searching, we will," he said. Without answers, social media and online content creators have more than filled the void, sometimes mashing facts with misinformation and speculation. While these online communities help keep the case in the public eye, Staff Sergeant McCammon said they can also hamper the investigation. It takes investigators time and resources to look into tips garnered from what, in some cases, has turned out to be just a comment made on social media, he said. Staff Sergeant McCammon said he understands the urgent need for answers about what happened to Jack and Lily, but cautioned that intensive major crime investigations take time to do things by the book and according to the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. We have to consider whether charges will be laid eventually, so we have to maintain the rule of law and follow the rules that are there. It does take time, and it is going to take some more time, he said. We won't stop until we have answers as to what happened with Jack and Lily.
Yeah. So that article I just think is fabulous. And by the way, guys, that is the Globe and Mail, Lindsay Jones. I hope I spelt her name correct. I know I spelt the Jones correct, but not sure if it's S-A-Y or S-E-Y, but you guys get it. Globe and Mail, Lindsay Jones. And she does fabulous articles. She really digs for the information, and she puts it all out there. And I'm so, so happy that we have Rob McCammon in Nova Scotia. And, he does what he does, and that he's working on this case. Jan calls him Bulldog. Wait now, what is it? Bulldog Rob, I think, is what she says. Shan, you can come up if you want. If you want to come up, I'll put the link in the chat for you. Yeah. Due to Meadow, I don't think either parent will ever talk if any foul play in order to keep Meadow. Well, it definitely could be a roadblock for sure. I agree with that. Yeah. Please make sure all tips are based on firsthand knowledge and not chat comments. Yes, yes. And anything I ever put out there that I am going to be speaking with someone regarding this case probably next week. And if there's any information that I do believe she wants me to share, she's been writing me for a while, but I haven't shared anything. I'm very iffy on what I share, uh, because I never want to put anything out there that shouldn't be put out there. And it's important for me to confirm the information, and what better way to have a face-to-face with someone. And she's been reaching out for a while, and she's been giving me information for a while that I've kept to myself, and she has asked to be anonymous, which I understand because she is, uh she she knows the families. And so, give me 10 minutes, finishing dinner. Yep, sure thing, girly poo. So, she is gonna meet with me, and I will certainly share what she is okay with me sharing with keeping her anonymous, for her safety, for obvious reasons. So that I believe I'm gonna be meeting with her Monday. She said Sunday, Monday's good, so I, said Monday's good for me because I actually have company coming tomorrow. Um, and, we'll see what takes place there. Yeah. And let's go back to the comment there that, Norbeaster. Oh, I thought I saved it, crapola, but I remember it. Excuse me. Norbeaster had stated about something that had red bodily fluids on it, undies. And yes, I did hear that. I did hear that at the very beginning of this case. Now, if it's true, I don't know. And again, it's one of those things that you don't want to put out there as fact. Um, And I do know it's been reported to RCMP, so please, please, please don't hundreds of you go report this. It's been reported. But my understanding is allegedly, allegedly, that it was a searcher who found these items, and that it was that plus a purple piece of material that could be possibly a headband or something. And yes, and then it was pretty hushed after that, because for good reason, I would say. I don't say anything disappears or went missing. I don't think that's the case. Uh, we know there's certain things that obviously when RCMP or any law enforcement is working on a case that they can't put out there to us. And I understand that. I think we all understand that. Um, Now, I think this article is quite telling myself. So I'm going to bring those key points up that I had highlighted. We had went over them on Shan's channel. But again, for anybody that did not see that, because I know not everybody watches all the channels, I will bring them up and we'll take a look at them. Uh, just give me 1 second there, guys. Yeah, Mad Dog McCammon, that's what Shan says. So, the Globe's reporting also revealed sorry, I'm going backwards there. Let's go this way. So, Globe and Mail, Nova Scotia RCMP Major Crimes head says he's confident case of Jack and Lily Sullivan will be resolved. Police are making headway in the case of 2 missing Nova Scotia children. So they're making headway. There's so many key points in this article. Uh, I mean, of all the articles that we've read during this case, this tops them all. Very reassuring. That's the only word that keeps coming to my head is reassuring, reassurance. And that they're reassuring the public. Said RCMP Staff Sergeant Rob McCammon, acting officer in charge of major crime and behavioral science. This is, I'm just going to read the highlighted areas. So, in quotes, he's saying it. I hope you guys can see that. Let me just check. Yeah. You've got 2 very vulnerable people who perhaps were in some difficult circumstances and they've gone missing. We need answers as to what took place. So they're not blind. They're not blind to the possibilities here and to the statistics of this case. Which, when I just went over those other 2 cases, again, same thing over and over and over, CPS, math, just woke up and they're gone. Yeah. Many, many similarities over and over and over again. Yeah. he has to consider the impact on long-term justice. And that's him saying that, quote, long-term justice. Should criminal charges be laid? But he added, police are making headway. And Ginger pointed that out there. They're making headway. Shan, I'm going to put the link in there for you now just because I might copy. I might not see. That you're there. Why didn't that copy? Hmm. Um, yeah, so, but he added police are making headway. I mean, that's, if I had anything to do with that, with this case, as a guilty person, I definitely would be crapping my pants, after this article coming out. 100%, I would be. Yep. I'd need some pull-ups. Uh-huh. And not the ones from Temu, the good ones. Exactly, Rena. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh. I have a hospital bag in there. Oh, you're there. Sorry. Hi. I have a hospital bag I have all done up. I'd just grab that and take that with me. Prison bag, that's cute.
I'm here. I'm just eating pasta at the moment.
Oh, well, you enjoy. I'm gonna go pig out once I get off here. I'm doing a diet after the holidays. Uh,
Yes.
yeah, I gotta lose about 20 pounds.
I lost a lot of weight over the summer and then I put it all on over Christmas.
Oh
So
my God. Yeah,
I'm
don't we all?
starting Monday though, because there's no point starting on a weekend. And I thought, I'm gonna just enjoy myself this weekend and then the kids go back on Monday and then I'll be hitting the gym and the treadmill and trying to not be sitting on my arse all day.
Yeah, yeah. I have a treadmill right here in the house, so I'm lucky there. It's in the office. You got somebody saying mama?
Mm-hmm.
The real Norbeaster says, I'm getting drunk the day charges are laid. I'm sure you won't be the only one. I don't drink much. Special occasions like New Year's and birthdays, but I'll make an exception with this one. I thought the same thing. There will be people when this is all solved or resolved or whatever word you want to use, people will be celebrating. In a way. You guys know what I mean. Um, It's gonna be sad, but it's also gonna be glorious. Um, I believe we have made ground when it comes to where things are heading and what we're finding out, he said. And again, very interesting statement, and that's in quotes. He's saying it. It's right from his mouth. I believe we have made ground when it comes to where things are heading. So they know. They know what's going on here and what we're finding out, and they're finding shenanigans out.
They are. I believe it.
Uh-huh.
I was
Yes, they are.
on my ridiculously long live yesterday. One of the things that I brought up that really stuck out, because there's still a few people out there pushing that they're alive and well, being taken care of by the native people, and that is not verbatim, but pretty close to it. And I thought to myself, why would Sergeant McCammon say that it keeps him up at night if he thought they were tucked away being cared for?
Exactly.
It
Exactly.
just,
Or a
it's,
fundamental wrong,
yeah,
you know,
yes,
because yeah, that wouldn't be the right way to go about getting your children out of an abusive household, but it wouldn't be a fundamental wrong,
absolutely
you
would
know.
not be considered a fundamental wrong. It would be,
Mm,
that would not be the language that they would use for children that are being cared for at the moment.
right. That were whisked away from DV, child abuse, and placed in the good hands of being on a reserve, which, if that was the case, believe me, they would be. They would be very well cared for and
Look how
protected.
well they're caring for Malaya.
But that's,
Look how well,
yes,
so I would suspect that the children would be cared for even better.
yeah. So there's no way they'd be calling that a fundamental wrong. A fundamental wrong is something very is an extreme injustice, that's taken place.
Yes. Lynn says, in my opinion, then why wait till spring to do more searches? I'm just asking, well, because the ground is almost frozen now. There is, how much snow do you have outside your place right now, Nova? Um,
A
and
little bit,
typically,
a little bit. But it's
yes.
funny she would say that because that was the last thing I was gonna touch on. I was gonna
Mhm.
bring up what Nick had stated on, Charmaine's video, and maybe you didn't see that, Lynn. Um, Charmaine had Nick from Please Bring Me Home on. They're still doing searches.
Yes.
They're just not putting it out there when.
Yes.
For obvious
And
reasons because of what took place during the last searches. And RCMP would have I don't believe that RCMP from the last time they left out there till now have not been back out there. They're just not gonna put that out there.
and they're
Besides what we
not gonna
know.
be, yeah, and they're not gonna give a heads up about it either.
No,
Um,
no.
and yeah, there's not only, yes, Please Bring Me Home members, but also the RCMP. And another thing is they need to know where to look, right? And in that article in particular, it says if you have any, I think it says something about if they get any more information on an area to look, they will look there.
Yes,
So
definitely, yeah. That's in
they,
this, yeah.
yes, so they're just not going to go out willy-nilly in the middle of winter down to Lansdowne Station and search areas that have been thoroughly searched already, in my opinion. They're going to go to areas that haven't been searched yet.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
that they believe or have heard, or maybe even certain technology may have guided them to.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I don't know if you remember this case. I can't remember what case it was, but I just remember this part of this case where, um, they were trying to solve this case, and I can't remember if it was in Canada or the US. Something tells me it was in Canada and it was RCMP, but I could be wrong. But, um, so it's kinda, similar to this where time's going by and things are being done behind the scenes, and, of course, we don't know everything going on. But after this case was solved and they were talking about it, the officer who was the handler of this cadaver dog, he was telling his part in this case, how he was out there all the time walking his dog. He just looked like somebody who was out walking his dog, and as we know, people go out there to walk and fish and, like, it's a bit of a nature place out there where people go to do those things.
Yeah.
Um, and so this guy was in this other story, true crime story, was, um, acting as though he was just somebody out leisurely walking his dog, or hunting. Like, right now, we got hunting season going on, so you don't know who's out there as a hunter with their dog. Um, and he was actually a police officer undercover with his cadaver dog, and they did end up solving the case due to that. I can't remember what case it was, but that I always remembered that part of it.
I know that there was a
So
similar case like that with Tori Stafford in Ontario. It wasn't around the same time, but it was a number of years ago. But it was actually the one of the lead detectives on the case that found her on a hunch, like outside of working area, like working hours, had like spent basically, yeah, all of his spare time looking in places where he thought they could have brought her. And he was the one that ended up finding her.
yeah, yes,
So
I remember that.
so they don't rest. Like it does make me chuckle a little bit when people are saying, oh, the RCMP are only there Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, and that sort of thing, right? And it's like, well, maybe that's the case for the Stellarton RCMP department or something like that. But major crimes never rests. So
No, and there's the integrated, police force here as well. New
mhm.
Glasgow works with RCMP, they're
Yeah.
integrated.
Mhm.
The Amber Curran case, they were together on that.
Yes.
So you don't know who's doing what and from what police station.
Yes.
Thank you, Carrie Bailey, for subscribing. Shan, do you want to talk about your channel a little bit there and tell people where to go to subscribe? I can maybe, Rena, do you mind putting Shan's info in the chat? You go ahead and talk about your channel there, Shenanigans.
Sure. Well, I am Shenanigans. You may remember I did a lot of collaboration with Daphne's Case Files, and with sort of the push from others, I decided to start my own channel. That way I could sort of say what I wanted and not have to worry about, other people, like someone else's channel being, doxxed anyway. I do have a tendency to be a little bit sarcastic at times. Um, but I got into this case in particular from day one, being here in Nova Scotia. It just felt wrong, I would say, within 24 hours. Like most people, I think when we first heard about it, I thought, oh, they're going to be found. They just wandered off. They've got all these searchers there. They're going to turn up. And after the first night went, and they weren't found the next day with all of those searches, with the heat-seeking drones, with the scent dogs, and then finding out that Malaya had left. I think I knew at that point that something serious had happened, and that the children likely were not going to come back the way that we had hoped. Because as a mother, I couldn't imagine leaving an area, despite RCMP telling me even, we'll call you the second we hear something. I'm not sure there's anything that could have pried me away from leaving that area. I would have sent my child off with my mom, and I would have camped in my car. So that led me to
Yeah.
just start digging in and finding out anything I possibly could, and watching every channel I could, reading every document, listening and watching. And then by now I feel like I have a decent grasp on the ins and outs of the case, but obviously RCMP know a lot more than we do.
Yep.
But looking into this case, maybe look into other cases in Pictou County, other cases in Nova Scotia, and just a lot of commonalities between when children go missing. And I know Nova touched on them earlier. I was listening while I was cooking. Just with, the red flags and the common denominators involved with children that go missing, which was, yes, usually there's a step parent in the home. Usually there is CPS involvement, drug use, domestic violence, and followed by the end inconsistent statements by the members of the family. And this case just ticked all the boxes, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So yes, I started up Tea Time on True Crime with Shenanigans, and I mostly follow Lilly&Jack's disappearance, but I recently did one live on Zach Lefebvre, who their first that was the 5-year anniversary on the 1st of January of his disappearance. And I also did a small video on Eli Wood, who's from Nova Scotia, but disappeared in Kitchener. And Nova and I have worked together on, we did one on Kenley Matheson, and I think you were saying we're going to be doing another one together later on in the week with more
I think
information.
Wednesday, he said anytime. So I did write back and say, is Wednesday good at 1 p.m.? So just
Mhm.
waiting to hear back from him to make sure. You never know. Somebody might have a doctor's appointment or something.
He did respond. He
Uh,
did respond.
oh, okay. Good.
It has to
Did
be
he
after
say
6.
6 p.m.?
Yeah, because he just said after 6 p.m. any of those days.
Oh, so how's that for you?
That's fine by me. Yeah, better for me
Would,
actually. After 6 p.m.
oh,
I can get dinner out of the way. And Wednesday will be fine. I'll make it work.
okay. Can we say 7 then? And I'll write him back
Yeah, sure.
once we're off here. All
Sure.
righty. Hi, Rena, and hi, Holly Jolly. Have a
I'm just
holly
working on my
jolly Christmas.
I'm just working on my thumbnail for my live. I'm going on a bit later today. Well,
Okay.
shortly after you're done, likely, but
Yeah.
it's mostly about keeping Jack and Lily Sullivan in the forefront of everyone's minds. Because I remember something that really stuck with me was Belinda's heartfelt plea that the worst thing that could happen was if people stopped talking about Jack and Lily.
I
And
know.
I just,
Heartbreaking.
it is, and despite my sarcasm and, sometimes lighthearted jokes with like tarot cards and stuff, it is all about bringing awareness. And I just try to have a laugh sometimes because it is a very dark situation, especially if what we suspect is true. It is a heartbreaking situation.
Yeah. And as a nurse, I get that, and I'm the same way. You know, when you work in healthcare, for well, I guess no matter how long, you have to learn to adapt that way somewhat, because yeah, we know what this stuff can do to anyone, right? And I mean, we have our days like today. I feel more serious about stuff. I just don't feel like cracking a funny. But which we have those days as well. But there are certainly days that you just have to keep the mood light, as you said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think everyone that follows this case as well, there's a lot of regulars. Like I would say there is about at least closer to 300 people that follow this case regularly, like every single day that they're online as well, looking and following. And they actually make it as well. You know, they're so great at cracking the odd joke or, you know, keeping them alive as well.
Right.
And it's actually become kind of like a second family for a lot of us. I think that we all communicate a lot together, bounce ideas off each other. You know, what about this? What about this? What do you think about this? And have you seen this? And it really is become a community of people who are trying to find answers for Jack and Lily and bringing justice to whatever's happened to them. And yeah, a lot of it is speculation and rumor and that sort of stuff. But you know, that's what this case all it has right now. We don't know the truth, so all we do is try to find the truth with the information we're given based on what the family members have said, based on the releases from the RCMP. So we're just trying to put together a puzzle, so to speak. And yeah, it is tough. And yeah, not every day feels like you want to have a laugh and a giggle about it, because like yesterday when I started my live before Sunny came on, I was in a mood. I was in a dark, serious
Yeah.
place because, you know, people just don't realize the implications of what I think Malaya was on the receiving end of in that trailer.
Yeah, and I agree. I agree with you. Some, you know, yeah, I agree with you. And one of the just one second, I just want to say, Ginger, I agree. And Lori, I think doing it this way by putting this article out and making these very bold statements and not coming out with all the cameras and the questions coming at you is just a better straightforward way of doing it. I can't imagine what else would they have to ask, um, based on all the information that's in this article. Well, I'm sure they would think of some stuff. You know, they might say, you know, our arrest coming soon, or, you know, but I think, I think this is just a much cleaner, quick way of getting this out to the public, without having those follow-up questions, if I'm making sense.
Yes,
Um,
and all of us not analyzing his body language like we
yeah,
did last
yeah, yeah,
time.
true that.
Yeah, yeah, because
Con
I know I did. So
yes, of course we did. Countryside, Wildflower says, "Intoxicated bird." Oh, you're
yeah,
funny. Uh, yeah,
alcoholic ostrich.
yeah, alcoholic ostrich. Diesel
Yeah,
Weasel says, "I need humor, so not to break." Exactly, exactly.
yes.
Like I said, I can't do the Janie stuff, the tapes and that, but I can listen to Justin when Justin does it in the Justin way. Lori Green, in my opinion, I think the police have just come out to shut the public up. Why 8 months later to come out and there's flaws in the case? They better hope Daniel and Malaya are not a flight risk. Um,
I
I
bet you
don't know.
Daniel doesn't even have a passport.
Yeah, I don't think that it did cross my mind. I hear what you're saying, and you know, it crossed my mind, but then I thought, no, no, there's too many bold statements in that article. That's too, do you know what I'm saying? Like, there's too many bold statements in that article for that to just be, okay, let's shut the public up, and stuff like this just gets us more talking anyway, so or talking more.
No, I think this was a way to let everyone know in so many words, that the kids didn't wander off per se, and that
Mhm.
if charges were likely to come in the future, that they needed to be careful with how they proceeded with the case. They needed to make sure all their I's were dotted and their T's were crossed. And like they said, following the Charter of Rights, there's, you have to, one of them is a right to a fair trial as well, right? So that's why I try to be careful with what I imply, but ultimately this is stuff that Daniel and Malaya and other members of the family have already come out with. They were very involved with social media in the beginning, and I suspect they still do in the background under different aliases. So
Yeah. Oh, I agree, definitely. Hi, Sue
so
Euler. Thanks for being here. Yeah, well, back to Malaya. I wholeheartedly agree with you, and that's where my thoughts always were. Not to say that there's not some culpability there, because obviously there just has to be. There just has to be. But I mean, when she left that property, in my mind, it was one of the things that, a number of things that to me I was like, okay, this is another thing to me that
yeah.
makes me believe there's something else going on here. And what could be so bad to make a mother leave the property of where her 2 children are missing?
Mhm.
Like I look at my household here and my relationship with my daughter-in-law, like I try to put it into perspective. Okay, so and if something happened to my grandson, um, you know, is my daughter-in-law gonna feel the need to leave this household? Is she gonna leave? No.
Well, the mere
No,
fact
'cause
that
we
you
first of
sit down and talk to her
Sorry,
is
go ahead.
probably sorry, I was gonna say, I'm sure that you sit down and talk to her, like you just had them over for New Year's Eve. I found it absolutely shocking that Janie said she couldn't even sit down and have a conversation with Malaya, and she didn't
Yeah,
care for her, basically. She
right.
didn't like her from the day she met her.
Yeah,
So that pretty much said everything to me,
yeah.
really.
How nice,
And
eh?
and that kind of feeling is palpable. You can feel that. You
Yep,
can feel when someone doesn't like you and doesn't want you
yep,
around. It's not I'm not like, not to sound weird, but you can feel the energy in a room, you can read it if you're not wanted.
yeah,
And
definitely, definitely.
I'm sure she
Yeah,
was told regularly that, that's her trailer and that's her home and that how her and her children have taken it over, and
yeah,
she never gets any peace and quiet anymore. And I can just visualize what that would have been like for her and the children, really.
yeah, yeah.
Not
Like,
only
I
just from
know.
Daniel, but from Janie and, Logan. AB made a freaking awesome point today. I was listening to his on the car on my way home, and he was showing old clips or um, of Logan, for example. And Logan was talking to, I think, Sue from Hidden in the Fog, and she said, "Well, I was putting my number in Malaya's phone, right? Because I was supposed to be taking Meadow." Um, and I was thinking, Daniel spends so much time at Ron and Margie's place, which is Logan's parents. Daniel and Logan are extremely close, as you can see. And how would Malaya not have her number already in her phone? So the day that the children disappeared and Logan's trying to take Meadow over to her house is the day that Malaya gets her phone number. That just seemed so odd to me. So odd.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah, I agree. Hi, Drippy and Mayflower.
So she didn't have,
Um,
it didn't appear like she had a lot of connections there. Like you would have thought they would have been hanging out and having barbecues and their kids would have been hanging out
mhm,
together and they would have organized like play dates, this, that, and the other. So why did
mhm.
she not have her phone
And
number?
that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, yeah, like if that was my daughter-in-law, this is where she'd want to be. This is where her supports would be. This is, the people that are going to help her find her son. Um, you know, if she left here, you know, there's a reason why, So I just try to think of things that way. And then to me, I'm thinking, okay, something's real bad here. Something is real bad. And of course, she doesn't want to let the baby go with Logan. Uh, no, like I wouldn't either. I remember when I heard that, I was thinking, well, yeah, Jesus, I wouldn't be letting my child go with you either, especially with two other children missing.
Yeah.
And and then as things start to kind of, come to light and you've now got your family there and supports and they're kind of pointing this and that out to you and the conversation with her sister and RCMP, that's the other thing. I just will not there's certain things that I will not uh overlook it and them asking, "Do you feel safe here?" Now, can you imagine if your child went missing and you call the police to the house to help you and they ask you, "Do you feel safe here?" There is a reason why that's being asked. Um, and unfortunately, uh, when you're in that situation, a DV situation, and if Daniel's there or Logan was there, she knew she had to keep her mouth shut at that time. Um, you're gonna go, "Yeah, I feel okay." Like you were saying yesterday with your ex, how long it took you to get over. Would you in that moment have said, "No, I don't feel safe here"? You
No, I
probably would have
defended
said,
him.
"Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I'm fine."
no, anytime police showed up, I stuck up for him.
Yeah.
So yeah,
A
so
and
that's
I
why I was
still
saying I
say
relate. I relate. I can see, like I've tried to put myself in other people's shoes, right? And I try to see why. Why would it be like that? Why would she feel that way? And
exactly, exactly.
that's the only thing that makes sense to me. Um,
Yeah.
is that
I
she was
just don't believe it was, "Well, my kids are missing, the police are all over this place, I'm getting the hell out of here." Uh, I don't believe it was that. No.
no. And I think she had a realization in
Yes.
the ambulance. It was like, I don't want to say an aha moment, but a moment of clarity. And it
Yep,
all
I
hit
agree.
her at once. And that was the moment that Daniel really realized that he had lost control of the situation. And he told, like, he was yelling at Cindy, and he's always tried to portray that their relationship, was poor and like they didn't get along and stuff. And I'm sure to a degree they weren't perfect. No family is perfect, but Cindy and
No.
her were on the phone every single
Every
day,
day,
multiple
more
times a
than once.
day.
Yep.
Yes. So their relationship was strong enough that her mom was, in my opinion, concerned.
Yeah, agreed.
Um,
Yeah,
so
and I mean, listen, and like you said, families have their outs. Um, they mend things in time. Don't forget Malaya's only in her, late 20s. Those were in her earlier days when typically, teen daughters and moms bump heads.
definitely.
That's not
Yeah.
uncommon. And then they mend things, right? But when you get other people, the dynamics, the worst thing for anybody to ever do is get involved in other people's family dynamics because they will mend those on their own, typically. You know. Um,
And
yeah.
Cindy, by all intents and purposes sounds like, she was in a situation like that herself with Malaya's dad.
Mhm.
So, um, there was a lot of baggage, I think, that Malaya carried around, being raised by her grandmother, who, enabled some things for her. So, and she couldn't leave Daniels to go to Patty's because Patty was an 80-year-old woman who just had heart surgery, who she can't have 3 kids running around screaming, and I try to see like what my dad was like, when he was in his 70s, right? I don't think that that situation would have been something that he would have, he would have for, on a
Yep.
temporary basis. But I mean, when you're of a certain age, there's only so much, like there's a different lifestyle. It's a different lifestyle than that of a young mother, right? And
Exactly.
Cindy, it appears, had some pretty, rightfully so, rules. And when you think you know everything and you're a grown woman, you don't want to live by someone else's uh, rules per se. And she was looking for an escape from what she was facing. So I mean, when I was younger, and I'm sure when you were younger too, I'm sure when anyone in this chat was younger, you didn't handle things in the best way. You made bad choices, bad decisions, and I just think,
Absolutely, and naive, you're very
yeah,
naive, like, thinking back
yeah,
to me in my 20s, oh my god,
definitely.
so
I feel like I
naive.
didn't smarten up till I hit 40, really.
Yeah, yeah,
Like not
honest to
smarten up,
God,
but
this
I
stuff used to
realized, yeah, you
Yeah,
just,
go
I don't know,
ahead.
life experience. You get more life experience as you get older, and when you're 26, to 29, you still don't know everything, right?
Exactly. I'm gonna sneeze again, just 1 second, my
That's
goodness.
all right. I keep muting to take a bite of my spaghetti. Yeah. So I just think
I'm just
I
sorry, you go
find it
ahead.
that's all right. I just find it hard. Like I know that she is culpable in ways, but I really I struggle with the amount of finger pointing that goes her way. Um, so that's all. I
Yeah,
mean,
I
Daniel has
do
his
too.
yeah, Daniel has his issues too. I mean, clearly you see how he was raised as well. It seemed almost like a recipe for disaster.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I do think that about him as well, I do. I think, because part of there's many reasons why I do what I'm doing with my channel, and one of them is the why, why and how do people end up doing these things? And a part of it is your upbringing and, uh what people have experienced in their early childhood. And I do think that about Daniel as well. But it's no excuse, but just saying, like, I understand that people become pretty messed up in the head for certain reasons. I know there are those who are born that way, but I think more of it is due to the other. I'm just gonna finish reading these, highlighted points here,
Sure.
just for those who, uh, didn't, hear this article yet.
Yeah.
So, Staff Sergeant McCammon said, "Police interviewed the social worker involved with Jack and Lily and others with valuable information about the children's circumstances." And that's what I'm saying, there's the points bold information put out in this article, you know? Um, yeah, we have looked at their movements in the days prior and the kind of things that were going on in their lives. So just put that together. Staff Sergeant McCammon said, Police interviewed the social worker involved with Jack and Lily and others with valuable information about the children's circumstances. And in quotes, we have looked at their movements in the days prior and the kind of things that were going on in their lives. So it certainly doesn't sound like he's talking about anything jolly there. Um, it takes investigators time and resources to look into tips garnered from what, in some cases, has turned out to be just a comment made on social media. Oh, that's when they were talking about social media. And I had said earlier again that as creators, we got to make sure to say this is already tipped in. I'm going to share this information with you, but please do not tip this in. It's been done. We have to consider whether charges will be laid eventually. It does take time, and it is going to take some more time, he said. Yeah, we won't stop until we have answers as to what happened with Jack and Lily. The Globe previously reported, and I put this in here because this is, of course, very important. The Globe had previously reported on troubling issues inside Jack and Lily's home, including admitted drug abuse by their stepfather, multiple black eyes on the children, controlling behavior that affected their mother, and other pressures brought on by the parents' financial struggles. The Globe's reporting also revealed that a provincial child protection social worker had visited the children's home to investigate a report of suspected abuse or neglect. Not anything to do with the children having learning concerns, disabilities, autism, any of that. And if you guys missed my live there, I did a couple of lives ago about, would it make sense to you, even if that was so? Let's consider the fact that that is all true, that the school thought the kids may have autism. And they also have the facts that, black eyes, which is the facts that we now know, black eyes, inappropriate clothing, not looking well kept, days missed in school, um, that whole list. And, do you think they're then gonna turn around and call, CPS due to the kids having autism? Which they don't do anyways, but, you know, they have that whole list of things that they're looking at, and they're gonna pick up the phone and go, "Hi, we think that Lily and Jack may have autism." No, that's gonna be not, at the top of their list of priorities to call CPS with all that on the table. Just to put that in perspective.
I
All right,
agree.
so I just wanted to, yeah, finish reading that up for you guys, and, I will leave that one up to really get the point out there. Not due to autism, report of suspected abuse or neglect. I'm gonna say both. Um, and, as I said, I was just gonna end with about Nick on Charmaine's. So a couple of things he had stated was that they were going to, in the spring when they go back. Now they're doing searches even throughout, the winter on days that they can. They've been there already. The cadaver dogs have been out there already, but they're just keeping that all hush hush. And, he let us know it's taking place, but they're not putting specific dates out there of upcoming searches or whatnot. But he did say in the spring they plan on going back and doing the pathways because they feel, and I'm curious about what your thoughts are on this, Shan. They feel that well, he said he does not believe that the kids would be able to go far into the woods, which we all know that. We all know that. Once you're here and you see those downed trees and how horrific those downed trees are, and I talked about this right in the beginning of all this, and I know Shan would know too. Shan's from Nova Scotia. It's tree after tree after tree after tree, and Pictou County was one of the worst hit in that
Yes.
storm.
Yeah.
And you're talking about trees that have been there for eons that haven't been knocked down slowly over time. It was all at once. So it's horrific. I've never seen anything like it in my lifetime. And you cannot walk through the woods. You don't There's no walking through the woods. It's over tree, under tree, over tree, under tree. I mean, it's just impassable, really. So he stated the same thing. He believes they would only have made it a couple of feet in there. He said he could only, after 4 feet, he was wore out.
Yeah.
Now, granted, kids can crawl over things and under things a little bit better than adults, but still. And this is uh somebody that's done many searches, right? Experienced at what he's talking about. So he said they're going to go back and go through the paths and check all those paths over again, um and closer to the beginning of outwards of those paths, leading into the woods, but not deep in them, because he doesn't feel that they're actually made it in there. Um, and we know Amy said that, well, they could be in there, but hiding under something. But my thought on that was, well, of all the searching that they did do, I would think that as experienced ground search and rescue, they would know that stuff as well. In fact, I know they do. And that they would have thoroughly check those paths due to that reason that Nick is even discussing. And not that I'm saying what he's saying is wrong, because yes, he's right and they should be checked again. Absolutely, because things can be checked and checked and checked. And then all of a sudden during, the fourth or fifth check, they find something. But I just
Yeah.
feel that that search was so thorough, and that, of course, it would make sense that, they would have that same idea that the kids could not get that far into the woods, that would be one of the areas that was very thoroughly checked, already over and over and over. Um, yeah, what are your thoughts?
I always thought that if they had wandered off, that they wandered off earlier than we all think, and that they would never venture into the woods per se, that they would have stuck to a beaten path, and thus making it likely that they could have made it further than anyone thinks. However, the fact that there was only one cluster of boot prints found on the pipeline, and that we haven't heard that any of those prints can be attributed to Jack, I just find it highly, highly unlikely. And that no one had seen them in that morning. So say they left at 8 o'clock in the morning, and we're traveling down Lansdowne or Gairloch Road to Lansdowne Road or Lansdowne Station Road, or somebody would have seen them walking at that time. That is Friday morning, during a time when people would have been traveling to work. And I just find it so unlikely that they did. But if they did, I would suggest, yes, definitely look further down the pipeline. Go at least 8 kilometers straight down that pipeline and veer off to every path that veers off of that pipeline. And I would do the same in both directions from Lansdowne Station, and the same going up to up Lansdowne Road, and I feel that if they may have gone towards like the bridge or something. Maybe that's where the star sticker came from. And if they went that way, again, I feel they would stick to a beaten path. I cannot see Jack, being as small as he was, making it very far in the woods at all, even with Lily's assistance. I've spoken to people that have worked on the pipeline, and they themselves said there is just no way. There's no way that a kid is going to make it through that far. And even the pathway that was given as an example on the Alcoholic Ostrich channel, that they cut off through the path on Lansdowne Road heading, like there's the pathway that right where the blanket was, there was a path opposite that went up towards the pipeline. And they still would have had to have traveled through 90 feet to 100 feet of intense woodland with downed trees, and they wouldn't know what was on the other end of that. So they would have turned around and came back, in my opinion, and gone a different way, giving them more time to be seen by someone local. And we all know who the locals are. So that it is possible. I just think, based on all the red flags in this case, it is not the most logical of the theories that there are.
Yeah. And I like how he puts it, that he's not ready to say anything else until he works his way there. He explains things so well. And I think he's just great in the Please Bring Me Home, the whole project. Because he says, ask him in April or, after spring, I guess. I think he said, what he thinks of in this case, because he's, I'm sure he does have thoughts, but he wants to properly work his way there and then be able to speak those thoughts, his thoughts on the case. And I agree with everything you said wholeheartedly. And I've always said that as well about the beaten path, and typically straight ahead unless they come across there's either an obstacle in their way and another path to turn onto, they're going to continue on that path most likely. Um and and that the kids were gone longer. Yes. Yeah. Agree with that as well. Yeah. Um, yeah, and then the other thing he talked about, was what I had said earlier that I was gonna mention as well, regarding if anybody didn't see that video, go over to Shar, um, True Crime True Crime Story Pod with Bree and Shar. Um and watch the video with Nick. Great video. So they are the ones who are also out searching. Please bring me home. Who have done searches and have obtained outsourced some cadaver dogs and cadaver dog trainers who are doing searches as well. So
Yeah.
and yeah, oh, yeah, so he is saying that they've been out doing some searching, with the cadavers. They're just not putting that out there, announcing it, the dates and where they are and whatnot for obvious reasons. And, like I said, I wholeheartedly believe the RCMP do as well. Again, it's just stuff behind the scenes that we wouldn't know about.
Yeah. I mean, they said they were
Yeah.
initially they said they were looking into all possible scenarios, keeping all options on the table, right? But as time goes on, options and scenarios become smaller, right?
Yep.
I also, in a couple of days, likely Tuesday, we'll be having a member of Please Bring Me Home that searched on my channel, going over maps and locations that were searched, and former ground search and rescue as well. And just to give a good idea of the areas that were searched and how they were searched, just to put it in perspective, because I know there is, still questions out there about what was searched and how. And I think it's important to get perspective from someone who was boots on the ground.
Yeah, and there's Shan's channel, everyone.
Thank you.
And I am definitely gonna watch that live. Did you want, are you just gonna take questions from your live? Did you want questions emailed if you're open to questions, or you're just gonna do your thing, or?
I think what I'll do is when I post, I'm going to post a thumbnail early. So like and basically what you see when it says going live, and it gives you the countdown. And in the
Yep.
comments section, I will be I'll ask for questions on my thumbnail to be included in the comments section. So, and maybe tomorrow I will reiterate my email address, and people can maybe email in some questions too, because
Yeah.
I think lots of people probably have lots of great questions, and it's kind of hard to think on the spot, but I will be having a series of questions myself to ask. I was going to let him know ahead of time just so that he can prepare for the questions, because I
Mhm.
want it to be thorough and accurate and informative.
Yeah. In my opinion, they didn't wander off too much. Let's get our story straight vibe. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Nice to see you,
Yeah.
Drippy. Haven't seen you in a while there, girl. Um, are you ready to tell us who your guest is yet, or are you waiting for us? You're gonna surprise us all.
I'm going to surprise you. It's not Nick, though.
Okay.
It's not Nick.
No, no. I thought it might have been Damien, but
Oh,
we'll wait
maybe it
for the
is.
surprise.
Maybe it is.
To tell us. You don't have to tell us. Um,
No.
little mama, Daniel lived there his whole life. He knows where the hidden spots are. Yes, indeed, that's his playground. That is his
Yeah.
playground.
Which we've seen from the geocaching, right?
Right
So
on.
he knew those woods, that whole area, like the back of his hand.
Yeah, and
Uh,
not just him, all the
all of them.
Mackenzies.
Yes. Jamie
Yeah.
said she's been there for, I feel like she said 50 years.
Yeah, well, I thought she said she was born like the family home, right? So she was born and raised there, and then the trailer that she has there, I think she said she had for 25 years or something.
Yeah.
So that would be her whole life, because she's
Yes.
60, I think. Yeah.
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 And so is
Uh,
her family. So is her family. And I think over time they've slowly sort of bought up
yeah.
everything in the area.
Yes. Definitely, yes. Boomer. These adults were neglectful, and it's evident by the fact that they cleaned up the property only after the kids went missing. Yeah,
Absolutely.
possibly.
It that bothered me actually the most, I think, was how much effort they put into cleaning up that property before the
Oh, I
interview.
know.
And
Mm,
it was like, why couldn't you do that before, when the children were
yep,
living in that whole
that's
time?
right.
It was all for
That's right.
show, and it really, really bothered me. It was like uh, w- uh, just everything, even down to the swings, with the new rope and the new duct tape and the painted shed and the fence, and just everything was, it
Yeah.
just screamed uh unauthentic to me.
Yeah. 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 It was pretty irritating for sure.
Yeah,
Definitely.
especially seeing
Um,
Durwood the bumblebee in the background as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they started cleaning and fixing. Then, yeah, I know. The night before, yeah, gag me. Yeah. Yeah, and that new fence was all done and blah blah blah. Yeah, right.
Which he had claimed was
S
done as well on the May
Right.
2nd on the alcoholic ostrich. He had said that the
Yeah.
fence was done. They must have gone through the gate. There was no gate.
Right. I know. Yeah.
There was no gate.
Yeah. Yeah. And how embarrassing to not have that information of the person that's sitting there giving you BS and not be going, "Oh, oh, I thought the fence wasn't done until after the children went missing," and just from the, information I saw on all those news clips there.
Yes. Yes, it I'm gonna say it wasn't his finest moment, and he said apparently that he wasn't gonna cover the Jack and Lily Sullivan disappearance anymore, but I guess he's doing one tonight, and I'll
Yeah.
have to rely on my members to tell me all about it because I boycotted him, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah. Ginger usually if there's anything I need to know, thank gosh, because I just
Yes.
can't. I just can't. And I hate to say that because
No.
I'm not a person to say anything about creators, but to hear how a creator speaks of others and the stuff coming out of a creator's mouth that is just so wrong and so wrong. Like,
Yeah.
I
And
just,
that's the only reason why
you
I feel
know,
comfortable saying what I'm saying after I saw what he did to Sonny, who brought him into the
yeah,
case in the first place, and then how he treated Daphne's case files and Dr. Bona on that live. Um, it was
yes,
it was triggering actually for me
it
because
was triggering. I found it triggering too.
yeah, I just
Yeah,
felt like the arrogance just oozing from him, and it was really difficult to watch. And
yeah,
basically calling anyone who didn't believe they walked away an idiot.
yeah.
Well, he did say that. So,
Yeah, he did. He said a lot of things that weren't very nice, but
yeah.
yeah, Ginger and Rena both are very good to send me stuff and others that watch. Um, viewers of the channel, Drippy sent me stuff. Wolfie has, like, I've
Yeah.
had lots of people send me stuff, but I, there's certain channels that uh it, we all have our channels we like, we don't like. I know there's people that prefer not to watch me and prefer to watch somebody else. Like, that's okay. That's all right. But
I
it's
don't
nice
think
to get.
anyone would say that about you, Nova. I'm pretty
Oh,
confident nobody would say
oh
that.
my gosh. Oh, geez. I've got those emails that you get too, and the nasty
Yeah.
comments
Oh,
and like, I just ignore it. I just
yeah.
ignore it. I don't talk about it because to me it's not worth it. I'm just like, Whatever." Uh, but and especially when you're a new channel, when you're brand new, it's no different than being the new worker, you know?
Yeah.
And you know
Yeah.
how you go through the whole grouping stage, the griping, groping, grip, all the G's.
Yes.
It's the same thing on here. It's the same thing. So they're griping and groping you. So
Yeah. Well,
whatever. It's
AB
just
came on my channel and set them straight. They've been pretty quiet ever since.
yes. Yes, he did, didn't he? But I got the same stuff. And then I'd be over like in Sunny's chat or over in Charmaine's and I'd be like, it'd be all sweetsy cutesy there. And I'd be
Oh,
getting
yes.
nasty emails from them. And
Yep.
I'd be like,
That's
what the
yeah.
heck? Or a big nasty long comment on a video. And I'd be like, what the heck?
Yes.
And I'm thinking,
You're
but
not alone.
anyways, so
You're not
some
alone.
of it is yeah, some of it is devotion to another creator as well. It's not just based like some of it's due to this case. Some of
Yeah.
it's due to the whatever case you're covering. Some of it's due to devotion to another channel, which is that's just mental because, okay,
Yes.
so your devotion is over to Sunny or Shar or Shan or Daphne. So you're going to go on Justin's and crap on, like, you know what I mean? It's just like, for
Yeah.
heaven's sakes, get real.
No, and
So I
I
just
think
ignore all that crap.
yeah. I think we've proven though that it's better to work together than against each other. Because we all have so much to bring to the table, different information, different ideas. Although we all tend to sort of, ultimately have the same idea of what may have happened. Um, we have different ways of processing information, and we find different things that other people that like each other hasn't seen or hasn't found in an article. We'll pick out different things that others haven't. So um, I think that when we did the collaboration, it shows how it's supposed to be when you're trying to find two missing children. And it's not
Absolutely.
about belittling other creators. And I know I'm a bit of a junk turkey anti-loyalist, but like I said, I'm quite loyal to my friends, and to see them thrown under the bus like that and disrespected, I just can't really stand by that. So I've always been someone who gives as good as I get, and his chat members give me a whole lot of grief. So it's only fair.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I thought that was great too, the panel. And, it's okay to think different. Like I look at some of the way you think, I think, and Charmaine thinking, and I can see lots of similarities between the three of us. And then I look at Sunny, Daphne, Justin, I see lots of similarities there, right? And I mean, you're all my favorite creators, you know? Um, so like you, me,
You're
and
my favorite
Shar
creators
our
too.
thoughts on what's that?
I said you're all my favorite creators too.
Exactly, exactly. Like I think your thoughts, my thoughts, Cher's thoughts when it comes to Malaya. Then I think of, Justin, Daphne, and Sunny with Malaya. Like different thoughts, right?
Yeah.
But that's okay. That's
Yeah.
okay.
Yes, and that's why I like bouncing things off of people that have different ideas about things, because I'm not 100% right. I might not even be 10% right because we just don't know. But
Exactly. At the end of the day, we do not know.
yeah, yep, and
Grippy, Dr. Vana was on with Daphne, and you could tell she was not feeling well. So she had to skip out early, but I believe they're going to be planning another one.
yes,
Yeah. Yeah, she does. Yeah, she's an intelligent woman for sure. Yeah. Well, guys, it has been exactly 3 hours, and Shan's got to prepare for her live, and I have to go eat. My tummy is growling, and I don't want to end up messing my diet up that I'm trying to do here because I get too hungry and then you end up pigging out on carbs.
it's my favorite thing to do. Ruffles
Me
chips.
too. I love me chips, and my favorite ones are the same as yours.
I try to change it
That
up a bit, but ultimately I still
yeah.
have my faves.
I go back and forth between sour cream and bacon and salt and vinegar.
Yes.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on. I will
Yeah,
catch your
no
live
problem.
later, of course, and I can't wait until you have your surprise searcher guest on that none of
Something
us
tells
know
me it
who it
won't be
is.
much of a surprise, but I think I think I just don't want him to start getting messages
Oh,
and
I
emails and
agree.
stuff ahead of time, right? So I just don't want to put it out there too much.
I agree. I agree. Yeah. Well, thank you
That's
very much for coming on.
Yes.
I will
I'll
catch your live later for sure. And you and Sunny yesterday were great. I had to watch in 2 parts. I fell asleep for a couple hours and I woke up and you guys were still on. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's really weird. Did my tablet start going again?" Because
Yeah.
Sunny, I would expect, right? But you? And then oh my God, I laughed. I was like, "No, they're still on. Holy cow."
Yeah, no, it was
Funny.
like every time we thought we were going to wrap it up, something else came up, and like I said, she's got a different view on some of the things than I do, and
Mhm.
I like not necessarily a debate, but I like enlightening myself with other people's opinions and ideas
Ab
because I
absolutely.
I don't want to be closed-minded and biased, and I know that I can be at times, so it's important not to be that
Exactly.
way.
Exactly, and I've asked myself that question with Malay, "Am I being biased here?" And I did. I actually talked about that way long ago in a video. It was, I pretty much that was what my video was about being biased when looking at things, and I thought and thought and thought about it, and then I thought, "No, I don't think I am." But maybe when you're biased, that's the conclusion you come to. I don't know.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like the more people that I speak to that think the same way, it does encourage me a little bit as to, my thought process that I'm not the only one that thinks that.
Yeah.
So, it is, and I think that predominantly it is women that feel that way as well, not just,
Mhm.
but predominantly because I think again, it comes down to like instinct and intuition for things because we were just born with it, right?
Yep.
And I was always told, in particular by um, some very intelligent people out there before, to always trust your gut, always trust your instinct, that you have it for a reason. So
Absolutely.
um, that's what I try to do. But again, your instinct and is formed by your own personal experiences. So I try not to cloud
Yep.
it too much. But
Yep. It's your brain speaking to your gut.
yes, yes.
Indeed.
Um, but yes, I'm going live in about 15, 20 minutes. So
Alrighty.
I'm doing my thumbnail to put it out there and just gonna talk theories as usual and Saturday night shenanigans. So go and have your dinner and come join me then, Nova.
I sure will.
All right.
I probably won't chat because I find after I do my lives, just because of my condition and my left side wants to shut down on me. It gets exhausted so easy.
No
But
problem. Just take it in.
lots of time, yeah, lots of times I'll just pop in and go, "Hi, everyone," and blah blah blah, and then I'm pretty quiet after that because I can only sit and listen. But yeah, and there is Shan's, guys. So if you're not, I'm sure y'all are, but
I
if you're
recognize
not,
all the names, I think. So
yeah, yeah,
like I said,
exactly.
there's
It's
a core group. Yeah,
pretty
there's a
much the
core
same.
group of us. So
And remember, guys, Shan and I will be on Wednesday, as far as we know right now, 7 p.m. Next week with the private searcher who has been searching on the Kenley Matheson case. So join us next week together as well. Um, yeah. All right. I'll see you in 20 minutes. I'll be listening. That gives me time to make my supper.
are you seeing Mrs. L's comment here?
Mrs. L.
Yeah, I think
I'll have to go back.
coming from drunk violent Indians like Shannon and AB Scott. Well, that's
I
nice,
don't
Mrs. L.
I don't
You've just
see Mrs. L.
uh,
So she's either got me blocked so she can get away with saying her comment, but she's been in here before and she's never said stuff like that.
yeah, she's banned from
Um,
my channel.
I can't
Um,
see her. Uh,
I know some of your
Ginger,
mods.
she was timed out.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why I don't. Oh, you guys are awesome. Thank you, ladies.
Yeah.
Next time we'll just ban her. Uh, Ginger, I don't know if you can ban or not with the manager capabilities there. But if not, because I just don't tolerate that either. And I want this to be a nice, safe, clean, flowing place, and chat. I have, yeah, it must be a Nova Scotia thing. We have no tolerance for BS. We really don't.
Yeah, well, I think she's in Nova
Yeah.
Scotia because she was talking to she's been talking to Kent. So
But you either have one or two Nova Scotianers, a shit disturber, and the others just don't put up with it. We've learned
yeah,
to be able to go, yeah, I'm just kicking that to the curb because we
yes,
know, right?
yeah.
It's too much interference. Yeah.
Yes, I wish there was a way to actually ban them from being able to even watch your content, but unfortunately, it just bans them from talking and
Yep.
chatting.
Yep. They
So,
just can't chat. They can
yeah,
still
which is
leave.
good enough.
They can try to leave comments. So in the community, sometimes you'll see, 6 comments, but there's only 4 there. That's because
Yeah,
they're leaving comments, but nobody can see them. So write your comments all you want. You're talking to yourself, which I think is hilarious.
yes. Me too. I will let you go though.
Nobody. All
Go and
right.
get something to eat, and I will, you'll hear me later.
All right. We'll see you later. Guys,
Okay.
I'm going to end with the wanted posters and a little bit of music. And yeah, that is funny, right? When you think that everybody can see what you're saying, you're talking to yourself. Um, yeah, and I'll be watching Cheyenne, and I'm sure you guys will all be there. It was wonderful to see you all. Thanks for being here. Thanks for your April for your 279. Thank you. Um, and I hope you all enjoy the 5 memberships I gave out. I can only give 5 out. But, next time I'll try and see if I can give more out. I just figured out how to do it, so there could be more there, but today it would only let me give out 5.
Can you tell me how
So
to do that? Because
Oh,
I've been
geez,
trying
I
to
didn't know
figure
you
out.
were still there, girl.
Sorry.
Okay. So, you have to go on to, you can't do it from StreamYard. You
Okay,
have to go on to, just like if you were watching somebody else's show on YouTube.
right. So just like in the live chat then, and then click on
Exactly.
the okay, so I have to do it on
Yeah.
YouTube. Okay.
Yes. Yeah,
I will
just like you're
also be
watching the
giving
live
away
chat.
okay, then. I also will be giving away 5 memberships tonight because I plan on doing a membership live soon. So, if you're not a member, you might get lucky tonight.
Yeah, there you go, guys. Woo,
Thanks.
woo. All
I'm
right,
gonna go
bye.
now. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. All right, guys, lots of love, lots of positive vibes. We are going to end, like I said, with some music and the want-it posters. Okay?